It's the end of an era, guys. We have released David Fales. So, control yourself. All right, let's just get right into the video. That is the news that we have got this morning, is that the Detroit Lions have released David Fales, the quarterback. Now, the Detroit Lions kind of had to do this. They had to release some kind of quarterback after bringing in Perez last night, because then they had basically 3 backup quarterbacks. That can't happen. Tom Savage coming back to practice kind of meant that they were probably going to have to get rid of someone maybe even anyway, and you probably want to get rid of Perez because you just brought him in. You also are going to get rid of Tom Savage most likely because he looked the best, and you're probably thinking he still is the backup quarterback. You keep Josh Johnson around. Still, one of these guys will have to get cut at some point. I mean, actually, 2 of these guys will probably get cut at some point. But with the Detroit Lions taking a chance on a guy out of the Division II college football who won their national championship back in 2017 with 46 touchdowns and 11 interceptions, that decided to play football over bowling, now they had to release a guy named David Fales. And you know, this hurts, all right? This is upsetting. So I think the best way to move on from the David Fales releasement, I'm not sure if that's what we're going to act like it is to have a video looking at some of our best moments with David Fales. So let's roll the clip. Shout out to the MVP, the most valuable player, even though we lost for the Detroit Lions, my guy, David Fales. David, you were the MVP. No joke. You were literally the MVP. And if you're like, wait, I didn't watch the game, he's the MVP? Are you kidding? No, like, I'm not kidding. Ask anybody. He was good, like, great good. For a backup quarterback position, this guy played as a 3rd string, and I think that's what really fueled him to be so good. Fales, I don't know what you're doing, buddy. Fales, look at me, right over here. Have you been watching too much Johnny football?
No.
Okay, stop watching the Manziel highlights, man. Look at someone that's maybe more better. Maybe just look at someone that's better at football. Watch his highlights, because Manziel probably isn't the best player to try to replicate. But Josh, look, you're new. I got confidence in you, Josh. You're all good. It's all good, okay? You're gonna get better. Watch David Fales a little bit. David Fales, hey, David, I know why you got better though. You stopped watching them Johnny football highlights, eh? Yeah. What are you watching now, David? David? Okay, guys, so yes, it's very unfortunate that we had to release David Fales. Now, taking a look back at David Fales' preseason, his first preseason game didn't go very well. He started off as a 3rd string, but Tom Savage went down, so he came in, he played a lot of that game. It wasn't a great game. I don't think it was terrible. I don't think it was all his fault. I didn't think the offensive line did him any favors. Then in the second preseason game, he went all out as the 3rd string quarterback because the Detroit Lions decided to bring in another one in Josh Johnson to play backup. David Fales wasn't really happy about that. 12 for 19 passing. He was great. 2 drop passes, so he would have had even better stats, but he was definitely the MVP for the Detroit Lions. He was hitting on everything, deep routes, double moves, everything. He was so accurate. And then the 3rd preseason week, now he has another chance to go at the backup spot. Didn't really live up to the hype. So again, the Detroit Lions decide, okay, you know what? We have to move on from somebody. We're going to move on from David Fales. Now, this does not mean that David Fales can't come back at some point, right? He could definitely do that. But at least for now, it's the end of an era. David Fales is out of Detroit, and Perez is in Detroit. So now, talking about those quarterbacks, looking at who we currently have, then we have Tom Savage, Josh Johnson, and Perez. Now, Perez has been in the NFL very little bit. He's played a little bit with the Rams in the preseason, so you guys can go look that up if you want to see. What I see from Perez, a guy that has a nice deep ball and some accuracy out there, and he definitely has an arm. I think that was something that David Fales definitely lacked. He didn't have the biggest arm, but it looks like Perez has more of that. Like, it's kind of just flicking it. Like Stafford, when Stafford, sometimes he doesn't have to step up and he gets flicking it goes far. That's kind of what Perez brings to the Lions, and I'm thinking he's more of a quarterback like that, a strong arm type of quarterback. So that's kind of the difference I see. Now, playing in the NFL is a very, very big difference between Division II football. Let me just say that. So we'll see what happens for him. As we know, he also played in the AAF for the Birmingham Iron, I believe it's called, and he was drafted 5th. So that's just what I want to get to you guys about Perez. Again, Josh Johnson remains on the team, so we'll see what happens there. I don't know if he'll make the team or not, but at some point, you're probably going to have to release one of these 2 guys. Matthew Stafford's obviously going to make it. You have to release 2 more guys before the season starts. I only think they're going to hold 2 quarterbacks, Stafford and a backup. If they held 3, then they only would have to release 1. I still, at this point, I would say I'm going with Tom Savage if he's healthy. But otherwise, I really have no idea who the backup's going to be. Thank you for what you did, David Fales. You were an amazing player for the Detroit Lions. Well, you weren't amazing, but you gave us some really good moments. And we're on to a new era with Luis Perez. Let's see what you can do. If you guys didn't check it out in the community, I posted a highlight video of him. Someone else's highlight video. I just posted this so you guys can watch it if you wanted to. Anyways, though, I appreciate all you guys. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you, Pat, for watching. And I'm out.